Hi, I'm Zach, and if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that I like How to Train Your Dragon. I've seen the movies dozens of times, I own them in pretty much every format under the sun, and I even flew down to San Diego a couple of years ago to see it with a live orchestra. You could say I'm a fan. But when I saw they were making a live-action adaptation of the first film, well, I had mixed feelings. On the one hand, more How to Train Your Dragon. That's never a bad thing, right? And on the other hand, the track record for live-action adaptations of animated films is, well, not great. But I kept an open mind, and on June 13th, opening day, I went and saw it. And yeah, mixed feelings is right. First, there's the story and the characters. You know, the core of the movie. For story, it's basically identical to the original. Shocker, I know. There's a handful of changes that increase the runtime a bit and add a bit more character interaction and things. But overall, it's essentially exactly the same. Is this a bad thing? Not necessarily. The original story is a banger. Do all of the changes feel needed? Well, not particularly. But I do understand why they did it. Didn't want to plagiarize their own source material too much. And characters. For the most part, they're fine. The casting choices were decent enough, all things considered. Mason Thames was a convincing enough hiccup, though I did miss the subtle Canadianness of Jay Baruchel. Having Gerard Butler back as Stoic was fun too, and Julian Dennison was fantastic at channeling Fishleg's awkward nerdy charm. My complaints start with Nico Parker as Astrid. I don't mind Nico Parker, and other stuff I've seen her in, like The Last of Us, have been solid, but she's really missing the core of Astrid here. A lot of the line delivery was just off. And the same can be said for Nick Frost as Gobber. Again, I love Nick Frost, particularly his work with Simon Pegg in the Cornetto trilogy, but his performance here was just okay. You know, now that I think about it, this awkward delivery wasn't unique to those two. Makes me wonder if it might be a direction issue. Dean DeBlois, who directed the originals, is back for this movie, but this is his first time working with live action, and I'm not sure if the skills translate directly across. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt here, but we'll see if the same awkwardness comes back in part 2. Anyways, characters. There's also the dragons, who really deserve to be called characters in their own right. For the most part, the dragon designs are solid, if a bit of a departure from the originals. Some of the changes were kind of cool, like how they showed the Natter's blind spot during training. But my main gripes are with Toothless. Some people I follow have been super critical of his design, and unfortunately, I find myself agreeing to some extent. It's not awful, he's got the same general shape and vibe, but the big problem is he's considerably less expressive than in the past. And that's really a bummer, since it takes away a lot from the interaction between him and Hiccup as they're getting to know each other. I also found it interesting how they sort of weighed up the dragons a bit. They seem to kind of move slower and less lively, which really makes you feel their true bulk, so that was another interesting change. Anyways, I've been kind of negative, so let's go with something good about this movie. The music. John Powell is back, and he's busy churning out bangers once again. Most of the soundtrack is what I describe as a remix, but that's not a bad thing at all. The same themes are here, and most of the important tracks take roughly the same course, but there are subtle differences in instrumentation and pacing that really keep it interesting. It's different enough to be something new, but similar enough to be the Dragon soundtrack we all know and love. Honestly, I really enjoyed it, and it was a really nice experience, especially in the theater. This was definitely the highlight of the film for me. But that's not enough to make up for the worst thing this movie does. The flying. It has what I'm calling the Aragon problem, and if you've not had the pleasure of seeing my Not Great, Not Terrible on Aragon, let me catch you up. I found the flight scenes in Aragon to be, well, nauseating. Mostly because of an unfortunate combination of shaky cam and too much zoom. And what does How to Train Your Dragon have in some of these flying scenes? Shaky cam. And too much zoom. Come on, man. Test Drive is supposed to be this wonderful new experience for Hiccup Toothless in the audience, but I just found myself looking away from the screen multiple times just to keep my stomach settled. I really hope they fix this for the next movie, because that was definitely a miss. Honestly, the movie was fine. On its own, I'd call it above average for a family-focused live-action film. And among the sea of crappy remakes, it's honestly pretty solid. But compared to the original film, that's where I struggle. Does this movie need to exist? Not really. Am I glad it exists? I'm not sure. On the one hand, it is bringing one of my favorite series back to the spotlight and potentially introducing it to a whole new audience. On the other hand, the original movies are basically perfect, not biased, and there was really not a whole lot of reason to tell the same story again. And that's the problem, I think. It's impossible to look at this movie in a vacuum. It will always be intrinsically linked to the animated version, and will always be compared. You know that saying, comparison is the thief of joy? I think that applies here too. I did enjoy seeing it. It was a fun experience, but it wasn't the same. Anyways, I've been Zach, and this has been my first live-action movie review. Yes, I know, I have a face for radio. I'm not sure how back into YouTube I'll be getting, but I have a few things in the pipeline, and you'll hopefully see them soon. Thanks for watching. We're at Burger King right now in the drive-thru because apparently there's a movie tie-in.
Welcome to Burger King.
Hi, I had a mobile order for Zach. Thank you. Let's see what we got here. Dragon Flame Grilled Whopper with cheese. Flaming hot mozzarella stick thing. We have a Viking chocolate sundae. And we have a Sig strawberry lemonade. I don't know. Is that a dragon cup? Let's just start with a burger, I guess. Ooh. They put in tomatoes, even though I said no tomatoes. How nice of them. This looks like a burger, just kind of red. Let's try it. It's a burger, but it's kind of red. Let's wash it down with the strawberry lemonade. I don't know why I got the strawberry lemonade. I hate lemonade, but we'll try it. Get the full dragon experience, right? Yeah, I still don't like lemonade. Let me grab some water. This is definitely a burger. Yeah, tastes like Burger King. Let's try these spicy fries, whatever the heck they're called. The editing Zach put whatever they're named right here. Apparently these are fiery, so it's not like Mexican food spicy. It's kind of just, I don't know. These are all right. They're not very fiery because my spice tolerance tops out at medium salsa, and these are fine. They're a little tangy. The aftertaste is a little strong, but perfectly edible. And last but not least, we have us a Viking sundae. Be forewarned, I'm not a huge fan of ice cream generally, but we'll try it. All for the whatever. Tastes like ice cream with some green stuff on the top. I figured it out. The green stuff is mint. I don't like mint either. This was a waste of money. So that's the Burger King stuff, I guess.